All right, hello everyone. So it's Thursday. Let's take a look at the market. Now, yesterday, if you played your cards right, maybe you should have been okay. Now, as you know, it was just a full flowing day all the way into 2,494, which was yesterday your daily PST level. And I did say if it comes down, don't stand in front of it because we've got room to come down into there. Okay, and this is exactly where the market bought. And now we're in this zone here. Now, the market is still going up, as you can see, right? So Wednesday being a swing day, Wednesday also can make a low, right? So that's the high, that's the low. That was a nice day all the way down. If you bought the low on the PST, you should have been okay, but there was no real astro hour here. All right, so there wasn't really anything there for us to kind of like, trade off. But the PST level is always good to trade, and I do trade it, as I mentioned before, especially on the weekly and the daily. They're like good if you're especially following trends. That's like really good to get in there. So we had 505 and 545, but that was not where we wanted it. Okay, that's 505 there. Now 505, 545 still kind of made a high there, okay, but not the best places to trade. Why? Because you're in between levels, okay, and then the target was up there. So once the market did a retest, it just went sizzling into 10, 11, 30, which was what we were looking for as a target there anyway. All right, so let's see what we've got today. Now today the best hours are in the US session, so it makes it a little bigger. If the market comes back down, we might want to go back up with it. A good place to come back down again is the weekly and the daily, because there's a bit of a gap here. And if you want to buy, that's going to be the zone. Now, because we've got news coming out, today's Thursday, initial jobless claims, 3:30. You got to set up at 3:15. Okay, just before the news coming out. So look out for that 3:15, because that's the level you want to look out for. And once the market moves, it should take us into 5:30, so 6 o'clock, and even maybe beyond. If there's a retracement, it's going to happen from 6:40 to 7. If not, it's just going to keep pushing. All right, so that's basically it. And then we've got news coming out tomorrow, as you know. Okay, that's gold. All right, so we can have a breakout, not a problem. I don't mind going higher on gold at all. The other option is if it comes back into 55, which is 2495, this is going to be a buy level again. All right, 2495. Okay, if you're using your ATAM, it's a good place to bounce off on the daily. If you take a look at the weekly, the trend is still up, so we've got room to go into 75, which is 2558. Okay, and that's that. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Now, with the euro dollar, as you know, got an upwards motion, and that daily is here. Now, with the daily, as you know, we had a swing day, Tuesday, Wednesday on this one. That's your Tuesday, Wednesday. So if you sold, you should have been fine. Okay, can you keep selling? I think so. Okay, because this is the first place, but this should break down. We should come into there. So let's mark this zone in. All right, so today, if we're up at a retracement, let's say, where is that? $11.90 as well. It's a little out there, $11.90. That can't be right. $11.50. Let's do this. Okay, normally I don't have a lot of indicators, as you know, I just have the ATM, but these are astrological stuff that I'm working on. So that's why they're there, crowding the screen a little bit. Okay, now this is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this zone is okay to sell off. They've already done a bit of a sell here. As you know, the daily, weekly pivot, they're good to sell. It's doable. That should bring us back down at least into here. Okay, but with the news, if we're up here or here with the news, I think you can sell off. Okay, and that's not a bad place to kind of like get back in the game. The reason being is this is what caused the breakout. The market's still in that range, so you can actually sell in this zone here. All right, but the weekly, daily, like I said, we always use that. So if we're here, like the market comes down and then it goes up into the swing hours, we're here or here, you can sell off from this zone and push it further down. I think this should break, in my opinion. Now let's take a look at SP 500. Now here we are with the SP 500. Let's get rid of this. Okay, now with the indices, remember Monday and Wednesday were sell days. That's your Monday. Wednesday from the highs, we're turning around. Okay, so if you're selling, you've done fine, because we're at the highs, remember, and that's like a double top here. I'm just going to get rid of that. No need to stick this anywhere because the system's already done, it's channeled. Okay, so we're already here. Okay, and the market's found support here, and that's also fine. So what we need to do is, if we go up a little bit more, we might want to keep selling, since we've kind of like broken below that zone, and that is yeah, the weekly pivot looks good. This zone is also looking good. Yeah, so this daily pivot zone, weekly pivot zone, this zone is okay to sell at swing hours. Okay, and this is fine. As you can see, the market's dipped below the low of yesterday. It's kind of closed below it on the 15-minute chart with these bars. So going back up to look for a sell is okay. You can do that on the weekly. Yeah, on the weekly is fine. This zone is fine. If the market comes into this zone, okay, let's do it. Include the weekly, obviously. Okay, that's the bar there. If it comes into this bar, you want to sell around here at swing hours, fine. There's a slight gap here, so mind the gap. Let's take a look. If, just also one more note, if we find ourselves low, okay, at the swing hours, then be mindful. Okay, be mindful, because be mindful, because if the market turns around from the lows, you don't want to get trapped. Okay, so if you want to sell, sell high. Okay, and selling is not looking like a bad idea at all. Let's take a look at Dow Jones. Now with Dow Jones, same kind of thing, Monday, Wednesday, remember? It was the swing days. Alright, so let's make this big a little bit. Not a lot of excitement, as you can see, with Dow Jones. Let's turn this into a 1 hour chart to see. Okay, but Monday and Wednesday, you see they're both swing days. They made the highs of the market. Not a lot of swinging, okay? And this one yesterday broke the low of Monday and Tuesday, so we're still at the highs. If you take a look at the daily, okay, so that's your Monday, that's your Wednesday, okay? Selling level today is 69.47, which is 41,347,366. 41,347,366. Well, which is pretty much just around here. Okay, so basically the high and the high of the day yesterday. If we're up here, if you want to sell, it's doable. Okay, obviously the news is going to be important. There's a weekly target of 41,576. It's a bit too far out, but the trend is still up, as you can see. Okay, so be careful here. If you want to wait for this, wait for the reaction of the news. If it breaks down, then on a pullback, selling might be a better idea. If it breaks up, then on the pullback, buying might be a better idea. So you don't have to rush to trade, just use your trading hours, and that should work fine. Now with NASDAQ, remember, Thursday is also a special day for NASDAQ. Thursday, Friday. Okay. But Monday and Wednesday was also a swing day. So Wednesday, if you sold off, great. Also, that's your Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, good action day. So today selling further down is okay. As you can see, we're going down now. All right. So now NASDAQ was a little tricky because there's a gap here. All right. But now that, we're kind of like going down, this has to come back down. We should find ourselves back pretty much at least at 18,500. Okay, it should kind of sizzle down here. Obviously no buying, no selling on the lines here on fib levels. You can wait to go up to 19,561, 19,561. Maybe it'll come up here. Okay, if it does, you can sell from here again. There's a bit of a gap here, as you can see. So the market should close the gap. If it does, that's your zone. That's your PST. Okay. Maybe it won't get that far. It's not a problem. This is your bar. All right. So if the market comes into this zone, I think it's sellable again at swing hours. Okay. So if we're up, we're okay to kind of push it down. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Here we are with Bitcoin. All right, so this is just going further down. I did say we've got room to come down on this, even down to here possibly, but we should pull into this zone. All right, so yeah, if you want to keep selling, it's okay. It's done the first target here. Weekly is there. It'll be interesting to see how the week will end today. This week, that is. If we have a deep push down, we'll probably go further down here. Okay, if you're trading Bitcoin, you could have also drawn your mid levels here. You would have seen that that's a level here as well. That's a level, that's a level, that's a level. Those are the mid zones, remember? So the market's selling off, buying, selling in that range. It's going to be choppy, so be careful around that zone. On the daily, I wouldn't do any selling at the lows. Obviously we don't do that. If the market goes back up, let's say into 50, 47, that's 68.70, 61.270, around that zone, into that bar, 61, yeah, 61.400, around there, like here, 61.300, 400, into that zone. You could look for a setup in that zone to resell. If you want to go up for the day, if you're doing intraday trading, then you can, what you can do, yeah, you'll have to do obviously in the New York session, or because we've got no hours here. That's already done. Yeah, 5, and that is 435. Yeah, so not much to do here until New York. Okay, if you're in between levels, don't worry about it. If the market breaks above the high and sticks around there, and if you're intraday trading, maybe it'll push up a little bit more before it sells off. But you can keep an eye on those levels, I said, if you want to resell, because selling the highs is probably still the way to go. As you can see, the market's like pushing it down. Okay, but this zone is not a place to sell. If you want to buy, well, 4 hours looking good. So now that we've got this kind of breakout here, if the market pulls back a little bit into your opening or whatever, like opening closing price, or if it sweeps Asia in the swing hours, you want to go long, I guess you can do an intraday trade that way too.